So welcome back for another breakdown video. In this video, we're at the 2019 World Championships again, where we have Italy versus the Ukraine. Okay, Italy is in blue, Ukraine's in white. We're in the repechage of the World Championships, so these are some of the better guys of the day. Not the best guys, but they've gone far enough to make it into the tournament to deserve a shot at fighting into the medal rounds. Okay, so let's play this video and let's see what we got here. So we got the Ukraine player drop in. We got the Italian player Lombardo on top working on the ground, and he's able to roll him, hit a pin. I'm assuming he's gonna be able to get his leg out here and finish this technique, right? And he's already up by Osaekomi. We're 2.5 minutes in, so he seems to be in pretty solid control of this match and should be able to get into a bronze medal match. He's able to kick his leg free, use the laces of his foot, good head control. Yep, and there's the referee's hand calling the Osaekomi. I'm going to assume he's going to finish this and move on to the medal rounds. So let's take a look really quick. Let's break this down. And then let's just go back to like how we transition, what things are we looking for, and how are we able to do this. So let's pull this back a little bit farther. And then let's go right there. Okay. Now let's go a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. So let's start this timer again. Let's put this timer up on the board. Perfect. So right here, we've frozen the clip. The reason why I've frozen it here is because Lombardo has actually finished the defensive action. It's impossible for him to get caught. The thing I was waiting for was for the sleeve hand that the Ukrainian guy was holding on to, that he was using to turn against the shoulder. I was waiting for Lombardo to break that so that we could start the timer and say, okay, the Ukrainian guy is on the ground. Lombardo has officially finished his defense. Now, how long does it take him to actually get to an attacking position where he can get step one done when we're talking about doing newaza, where step one is setting the grips that we need in order to start the technique that we're looking to do. Okay, so we have our timer here. The timer works both negatively and positively. So if we back it up, we can see that it's at negative 0.3, 1/3 of a second. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward through here a little bit and we're gonna pause this right when Lombardo gets what he needs, right there. Look at that. So the thing that he really needed inside this technique was that left hand underneath. We're gonna keep going, keep going, keep going, right? Because what he's working for, if we back this up, right? Step one for Lombardo was getting something to the inside, okay? And he does that really fast, right here actually. So he's 1 second. That guy dropped to the ground, he broke all the grips, he re-engaged and got his left hand to the inside position here. So we can see this left hand, it came behind the arm and he's established the grip on the collar with about 1 second on the clock, okay? That's super impressive, that's really fast for anybody. Myself included, that's really fast. So as we start to fast forward, because we watched this technique the first time, we know what he needs to do now is, now that he has that grip, is he's got to get underneath. So we stopped it at just over a second. Let's fast forward here. He's working, he's working, he's working. He's getting leverage now, right? Right here, boom, look at that. He went for it. Back it up a little bit more. Back it up. Back it up, right here. So as we talk about like the timing and like the stages of what we need for newaza to be successful, okay, we want to work through those stages and we want to break when we get a stage to make sure we have the stage so that we move on. And the better you get with these techniques, the quicker those stages come together and look fluid. But when you break it down frame by frame like we're doing here, you can see that every stage has about a 2-second break before they start working to the next stage, because they're taking that 2 seconds to really make sure it's secure and they have what they need, okay? They're not just moving on, because what happens when you rush through the technique and you try to get it down to like a half a second for every stage, it tends to leave holes for your partner to just explode out of the technique because you're not securing it. Okay, so here, we're right at about that 2-second mark, right? Because right when we go here, he's like, there. He's taken the step. He's like, I have what I need to go for this technique, right? I'm established, I'm here, and I'm ready to pin him. Okay, so then he ends up hitting that roll. Boom. Right at about the 4.5 second mark. He gets the roll, and you can see right here, the key thing that gets him to work right here is this hand. A lot of people typically when they're doing this roll, they send it all the way through to the opposite side, and what people do is they tend to grab it. What Lombardo's done, which is really nifty here, if we tap into this position, right, is he's gone to the near shoulder. And what that's allowed him to do is use his elbow to frame it across the Ukrainian's face and throat, so that every time the Ukrainian tries to turn back in, he runs into that stiff forearm, and Lombardo's able to use that for leverage to push him off to the other side, right? So that's just a nice little detail and add-on from the Italian player here that I think is actually really nifty, and it might be worth me even trying at the dojo just to see if I can get it to work. But you can see we're 7.5 seconds into this technique, and we're just starting the rolling process. Boom, he hits the roll. Now, he's hit the roll, I'm gonna say right at about 9 seconds into the technique. The important thing now that he's got his opponent back on the mat, he's on top, he understands his leg is stuck, but what he has to do is he has to spend the next second or two securing the technique. Okay, we have to make sure that I can keep my partners back on the floor. That way, while I'm trying to free my leg, they can't just explode and get out of the situation. So as we start moving, we're gonna start to see there, he hooks the head. He's getting head position right. He's getting his underhook. He's getting his head pressure down. He's getting his shoulder driving across the face here. So as we're starting to work, yeah, and right there, that's probably the worst thing you could do on the ground, is actually take your hands and lock them around your partner, which is what the Ukrainian guy has done here, because now his hands can't manipulate, he can't use them to create space. You always want to try to have your hands between you and your partner so that you can use them in an offensive manner to play defense, right? We always want to be active on the bottom. We never just want to hold, which is different to say than had he actually locked around like the hips or the leg. Then it's an acceptable thing to do. But when you lock around the head and the shoulders, you can't use your hands to defend the legs, okay? So as we're working through this position, Lombardo's done a very good job of getting head control here on his partner and getting his hips as high as he can. When we get our hips high like this, what happens is the partner who's holding onto the leg with the scissor, right, on the legs, they slide down the body. And once you can free your knee, right, then it's easy to get the ankle out. So as we see, the Ukrainian guy's clamped really high into this technique, really high. See, he's above the knee. So what the Italian player has to do is he has to use this free leg here. Let's clear the board out of the way so we can use one of these. He has to clear his leg, this leg, right? He has to be able to clear so that this leg has to go to work to push himself down the mat. Okay, so as we're looking at these positions, okay, the key thing to look at is, where's my partner clamped? Because the Ukrainian is clamped above Lombardo's knee, right, he has to use this foot here, the free one, to push the Ukrainian's legs down to get his own knee free on the leg that he's holding on to. Okay, so that's the next step here. So one, he got the grip. 2, he got the roll. 3, we gotta free our knee. Okay, and that's what he's working for now. He's gotta get his knee free. So as we're starting to work, you can see that Ukrainian guy's even trying to reclamp to get even higher on the leg, and Lombardo's like, I'm not having any of that bounce, bounce, bounce. We talk about this all the time when we're looking at Newaza videos. You've got to shake them a little bit. You've got to shift that sand to create opportunity. By bouncing, it's causing, by short bounces, little ones, boom, 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 short bounces, it's going to cause Ukrainian to slip down the leg a little bit so that the Italian player can get this foot into play. Okay, and he can get it up on top of that thigh. So as we're working here, right here, boom, he windshield wipers that foot inside so we can get that hook working against the thigh to hopefully push the Ukrainian's legs down so that he can free that leg. He's working, he's doing a very good job here of driving that shoulder, making the Ukrainian look this way, because Lombardo wants to free his leg to this side.